You are, I think, going to actually hear some similarities with some of what Erin said, which I'm sure as you think about our backgrounds and look at us, you don't see those similarities, but I think there's a lot there, actually. So I do find it helpful to describe a little bit of my journey to help people understand why I approach things the way that I do, which I think at the end of the day is what I can offer to this part of my new network, and hopefully you will get some value from that. So I grew up in a town of 190 people. The thing that I really want to set the stage with you is not only is it 190 people in a farming community, but there was no, state and local government was the biggest thing anybody was connected to. And, corporate America, corporate global was just not understood. And I would tell you that's true today, except for the fact that all 190 people know me, and so they know corporate global companies through my experiences, et cetera. So, I feel like it starts from this point of, but who's going to hold you back? Now, I didn't have the goal to be a general manager in IBM when I left that community because I didn't know what that was. And that's a big part of what I think our stories have to be, that sometimes you've got, your eye on what it is you want to accomplish, and sometimes you don't. And we have to be sure that we keep our eyes open for what those other opportunities could be. So if I fast forward, you got some of my background. I did start as a programmer. And I moved out here in San Jose in 1998 and took a job here in our Silicon Valley lab and then moved to New York in 2003. Now, along the way, a number of different roles, that's fine. Everybody has those kind of opportunities. But the things that come to my mind when I say, how did I really make it? The thing that's in common with them, I have three of them. They're all lateral moves. It was not about a promotion in any one of the three. They all three took me out of my comfort zone in some way, and they all three, we can look back and see how they put me ahead on something. So the first one was when I moved out here, having grown up in North Carolina. You got the background there. Now I'm coming 3,000 miles away into a big city, frankly, with a lot of people around you, more neighbors than my entire hometown. But so that's outside of my comfort zone. But it was a terrific opportunity, and it caused me to build a network, but it also caused the folks around me to see what I could do, which I think is a big part of it as well, and a part of how that network then helped me as I would go further. Fast forward a little bit, I went into my second one I was in New York at the time. My second one was about going out of software engineering, out of software development, into running mergers and acquisitions. It's out of my comfort zone. And then the third one, I ended up going to lead a development team actually in Canada. I stayed in New York and went back and forth, but leading a team there where I was the only executive that was a heritage IBMer. Everybody else had come from an acquisition, and that had only been a couple of years. So I was really in a different world from what I had been used to. Now that last one, and this is why I say that these lateral moves help advance you. That last one that I talked about, I did that job for 1 year. I came out of it and was appointed in my first general manager role, which in IBM, it's like a small CEO of a business. And the business I was responsible for was $6 billion. Nobody else had been put in their first general manager role in that significant size business. So I believe it was because of the things I was able to do in this. So that's why I tell my story. I tell it, I'm sure all of you have similar things, that you accomplished along the way. I think if we all step back and think about it, it's about, you own it. You earn whatever's there. You have to be in the moment of what is put before you and turn that into something that then advances along the way. And I cannot stress enough to others, it's not always about the next role having the promotion, because sometimes that next role will actually stretch you to a point that opens up a huge opportunity for where you're going to go after that. So that was kind of my journey, and I mentioned network a little bit, but Shivani wanted me to reflect on what the network means, and to be quite transparent, it was a hard question for me. I am not somebody that focuses on how many connections I have. I'm not someone that focuses on being sure that I meet every single person I could possibly meet. I'm an introvert naturally, and so consequently I don't do a lot of that. But when I step back and think about it, I have a very strong and authentic network. And it's of people from all sorts of places, many of which I've met professionally, but many that I haven't, that they've still come together. And so I think it's important to think about what a network really is. And I actually go back to the computing definition and think about, it was about an exchange. At its core, it's about an exchange. Information, services, communication, whatever it may be. And so my challenge to all of us would be to think about your network, this network and broader ones, as it's really, what are you giving to it? Because then the exchange, I'm sure you'll get back more than you give to it. And how do you then recognize that as a part of all that, that's how people will see the opportunity for you, or they will want to do business with you, et cetera, because of, do you have determination? Does that come through? Grit. Where's the drive? Where's the integrity? Creativity, just a number of different things that I think you can ultimately show through that network. So it's my pleasure to have been invited. I'm sorry to say I did not know about the organization until we started this exchange, and since, even before showing up, I've found a lot of benefits from it. So I know that this is an organization that has a large reach and a lot of impact. I challenge all of us to be sure that next year, it takes twice as big a room for this, and the following year, twice as big as that, et cetera. Thank you.